Coming up on this hour of Chris 6 Sunrise, President Trump made an announcement linking autism and the use of Tylenol by pregnant women. Scripps News Group's Joe St. George will join us with the reaction to the announcement.
And a newly surfaced email could change everything when it comes to a controversial downtown hotel incentive. What City Council plans to do next.
Concerns over Kingsville newly appointed city manager continues. I'm Stephanie Molina with the decision that came down from commissioners regarding Charlie Sosa.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Hope you're having a tubular Taco Tuesday, everyone. I know I am, sitting next to Michelle. But hey, we also have our special guest in the house, Diamond Dixon. She's filling in for us for a little bit. Hey, Diamond, how you doing?
Yeah, good morning.
Well, good morning, Michelle and Brian. Hey, we're making it. When we get to 6 o'clock, we're like, all right, we had our buffer at 5.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're doing better.
Warmed up.
We're halfway there.
That's right, halfway there. Well, traffic, if you're headed out, you have to be at work just like us. Well, traffic is improving and also not. We'll take a closer look. Portland to the Harbor Bridge, we see still good flow there. There's good and green, as I always say. No issues if you're headed across the New Harbor Bridge. Ocean Drive also looking good, but we're seeing a lot of that slowdown along SPID. There's also construction and road work going on along SPID with some of those lanes being closed, so you might want to factor that into your commute this morning. And SPID, like I said, should improve towards the later part of our morning. Now, Saratoga's also looking good. Those minor slowdowns that we saw in the past half hour have improved since. And as we take it on over to Waldron Road, looking good. Minor slowdown along Flower Bluff Drive, and the JFK Causeway is also looking good this morning. No issues there. And here's a look at your drive times this morning. Depending on where you're headed, a little bit, once again, more of a slowdown from downtown to the island there, about 26 minutes. From Portland to downtown, approximately 8 minutes, and Cow to downtown, 15 minutes.
Good stuff. Diamond, thank you so much. So we'll get to your neighborhood news in just a bit, but first, a look at your national headlines. President Donald Trump, along with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., announced his administration's latest findings on autism. On Tuesday, the president said his administration would notify doctors about a very increased risk of autism and pregnant women's use of acetaminophen. The pain reliever is commonly known by the brand name Tylenol. A spokesperson for Kenvue, which makes Tylenol, emphasized in a statement that, quote, "We believe independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism," end quote. Scripps News Group Joe St. George will join us at 6:12 with more reaction to the announcement.
And happening today, the United Nations General Assembly continues in New York. More than 140 world leaders will make appearances as high-level general debate begins. President Donald Trump is expected to speak shortly after the opening speech. A series of summits will address global conflicts, climate change, and international recognition of a Palestinian state. The group is marking its 80th anniversary this year. Well, closing arguments are set to begin today in the trial for Ryan Ruth. He's accused of attempting to kill President Trump on his Florida golf course last September. Ruth is representing himself and rested his case on Monday without testifying in his own defense. Prosecutors rested their case on Friday.
Back here in your neighborhood, a recently surfaced email from the Corpus Christi city attorney is raising new questions about a $2 million incentive granted to a downtown project. Chris 6 investigation found the email, and it states that the entire council was told last year in executive session that a FEMA screenshot in the application appeared to be altered. That application was for Type B funding, and in the end, the hotel in question received $2 million. A rival developer flagged the altered screenshot and is now suing the city of Corpus Christi. City Council has voted to bring in an independent firm to investigate what happened and whether there was any wrongdoing.
Well, 2 people are dead and 2 others are injured following an accident on the city's west side. It happened just after 1:30 Monday afternoon. According to police, a dump truck was heading north on Old Brownsville when an SUV headed in the opposite direction skidded on the wet road then crashed into the dump truck. The driver and a front seat passenger in the SUV did die on this scene. A teenager in the back seat was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. The driver of the dump truck was also taken to the hospital as a precaution.
Once again, the employment agreement contract for the city manager is postponed for the next meeting. Charlie Sosa was appointed the position on August 25th. As Chris 6 News reported before, Sosa had a felony conviction back in 2005 for shoplifting in New Mexico, which still concerns residents. The court spoke for about 30 minutes during executive session regarding the contract, but nothing was decided at the end. The agenda packet states if the contract is signed, the city manager will get paid $180,000 annually, and if terminated, he will receive 20 weeks full salary. Chris 6 News asked the court for comment but were declined. The next meeting will be held Tuesday, October 14th.
Well, hey there, Coastal Bend meteorologist Devin Dixon here with a live look outside our CCAC camera overlooking Snoopy's Pier. Well, some nice old traffic moving along, some people out moving about. Temperatures are a little bit warmer this morning than what we've seen just yesterday. We're expecting a little bit less shower activity, but nonetheless, we'll still see some passing showers through our morning and our early afternoon hours. So if we go ahead and take a look at just yesterday, Doppler radar, we have to scale it back about 12 hours to up to 18 hours to see exactly where we saw rainfall. And it was across a lot of our neighborhoods, but a lot of that rain dumped right on in Corpus Christi. And it made us have some good rainfall totals, just a little over half an inch. But you could see that we saw a heavier pocket of rain into our 1:30 hour that lasted until 3:30 with a flash flood warning. So we saw once again over half an inch there in here at Corpus Christi. And it kind of missed some of our other surrounding neighborhoods. But temperature in Felix right now, once again, a little warmer today. 85 for Port Aransas, 84 for Ingleside, 78 right now for Corpus Christi and Robstown, including San Diego and Kingsville and Hebronville, 80 for George West. We're expecting a lot warmer temperatures also this afternoon. We'll get into that, but do know that the heat risk is between major and even extreme for our neighborhoods. Our winds are also a little bit more picked up this morning as well. Out of the south mainly. Now for Port Aransas at 11. Here in Corpus Christi, we're seeing more of a calm wind and about 12 miles there for Freer. In between is under 10 miles per hour. Remember to prepare for that heat. This is going to increase, especially after our 11 a.m. hour into 6 p.m. and even into 7 before we get out of triple-digit feel-like weather. So you'll want to prepare for the heat. Expecting the high, though, of 95 here in Corpus Christi. Mostly sunny, still with those stray showers definitely possible from our afternoon. If you want to plan out your day a little bit in an hourly fashion, you can see the warmest part of our day is usually between 2 and 4 p.m. with a little bit of increased wind out of the southeast, just shy of 20 miles per hour.
I'm Victoria Valderrama in Portland, where a gas leak forced some neighbors to evacuate. I spoke with some of them about their experience.
And President Trump's recent claims about autism and Tylenol has left many people with questions. Coming up after the break, Scripps News Group's Joe St. George will join us and tell us how doctors are responding to the president's announcement. Welcome back, folks. 6:11 is your time on this Tuesday morning as we're taking a live look from our SBID Skycam. Traffic flowing pretty nicely, but we're going to be checking in on the rest of the roads, plus the weather with meteorologist Diamond Dixon. She is standing by. But first, we're heading to Washington. So on Tuesday, President Donald Trump, alongside Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., made a big announcement about how his administration found that autism and the use of Tylenol are linked.
Yeah, Tuesday's comments focused on the use of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol and other widely used medications by pregnant women, but called acetaminophen a very big factor. To talk more about this, we bring in Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George. Good morning, Joe. So how are the makers of Tylenol and doctors responding?
Well, to say the least, everyone seems to have an opinion on this one, especially in the medical community. I think it's important to start with the White House, though, on this front this morning. They're still full steam ahead, despite all this criticism from doctors, medical groups that the science isn't there. The White House this morning is still full steam ahead on their plans of sending physicians notices regarding Tylenol, acetaminophen, following the president's words. Full steam ahead for relabeling the product in the weeks, months, and years to come. This despite so many medical groups speaking out, doctors speaking out, saying essentially this. Take a listen.
Tylenol has been very well studied, and it appears that thus far anyway, based on the multitude of studies that have been performed, there's without a doubt no causal link between Tylenol and autism.
As far as Tylenol goes, the makers of Tylenol, they agree with that assessment from the doctor. They say that any suggestion otherwise is wrong and not based in science. They're also telling the Scripps News Group this morning that they're exploring their options to protect pregnant women and children here. That could be code word for possible litigation on this front. But remember, the president has presidential immunity given from the Supreme Court in recent years. It's also possible that the makers of Tylenol could be facing litigation from families that have experienced the impacts of autism. So I suspect there will be some form of a court battle in the near future on this front. Important to also note intellectual disability groups that advocate on behalf of those with intellectual disabilities. The ARC sent a statement to Scripps News Group saying that they're concerned about the stigma that this may cause. This may send those that have been advocating for autism awareness, they may send the movement backwards, and they caution that when public leaders speak about autism, that their words carry a weight. So plenty of reaction here, and naturally plenty of confusion. That's why doctors that we speak with say, look, if you're confused about what you're seeing online, maybe from a TV news report, talk to your doctor. It's the best advice that you could get.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for providing all those different perspectives. We appreciate it.
Now, a lot of good insight there, sir. Looking forward to talking to you again very soon.
Well, welcome back there, Coastal Bad Meteorologist Simon Dixon here, looking at our hourly planner from your morning all the way back to your evening and nighttime. Well, into 11 o'clock is where we'll hit our 90-degree mark today, expecting that high of about 95 degrees here in Corpus Christi, and our 90-degree weather is actually lasting until our 6 and 7 o'clock hour today. So that also means that we're going to spend a lot of our morning and afternoon in triple-digit feel-like weather. Now, we'll also notice that even into our 2 o'clock hour, our winds increase out of the southeast around 16 miles per hour and even 18 by 6 p.m. So we kind of stay between this range, but we'll be kind of close to about 20 miles per hour with our wind gusts. So we talked about rainfall and our highs today. Highs, as far as going out west, will touch triple digits, so they will feel even warmer than what we will feel here in Corpus Christi, even though we're going to be in the triple digits as well. Looking at upper 80s along the coast, but mid to upper 90s is going to be the name of the game from Corpus Christi extending out to even Freer and Alice and Beeville. So while we will still see some slight showers today, a lot of that activity stays over the Gulf and then moves a little bit to inland there and along the coast starting at 7 and moving into Rockport by 9, and then still into the Rockport area by 11, moving closer to Beeville into our 3 o'clock hour and wrapping up closer to 5 and 6 this evening. So a little bit less of that expected activity today. Rain chances do take an increase Wednesday and Thursday. Those are going to be our more prominent days of abundant rainfall between isolated, widely scattered, and even slightly there scattered. That's going to be promoted by our cold front of the season moving through between our Wednesday and Thursday, impacting our temperatures for us on Thursday. Now, when we look at that timeline of those rain chances, you can see for even kind of tomorrow as well, for Wednesday, they really take an increase starting Wednesday morning, but as you can see into Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, that's including widely scattered and scattered even on the cusp, but numerous between Corpus Christi, Alice, and even Beeville. So today and a little bit into tomorrow, we'll see those above normal temperatures. We take a dip Thursday because that's where we'll feel the effect of the cold front. We won't actually be cold, but at least we'll get a little bit of relief from those mid to kind of upper 90 temperatures for this week.
As more and more people embrace AI for day-to-day life, is it putting children and even some adults at risk? I'm Adam Beam, sitting down with the experts and testing out the technology for myself.
Local sport. This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by the Heil Law Firm, battling for justice, winning for the community.
This Hispanic Heritage Month, local veterans are taking center stage. The Instituto de Cultura Hispanica de Corpus Christi, also known as the Museum of Hispanic Culture, is getting ready to host its 49th annual gala this Saturday, September 27th. This year, the celebration is all about recognizing and honoring the veterans who live right here in our neighborhoods.
They've done so much. They're a great impact in our community. All the economic engines that are around here, the base, the hospitals, the port, Citgo, Valero, all the refineries, you have veterans working, still working.
And you know what? The gala isn't just a night of honor. It's also about preserving culture and promoting education for future generations. So make sure you join us tonight at 6 for this week's Veterans in Focus. And I'll show you how this event is making a difference and how you can be a part of it.
Well, it's time for another look at traffic this morning at 6:22. That's our USS Lexington Skycam overlooking the new Harbor Bridge. Looking like a few more cars traveling across at this hour headed to work. We'll take a look at some local road maps and see exactly how we're doing, if we've made any improvements since the last time we had a traffic update. Well, from Portland to the Harbor Bridge, as we just saw, traffic was moving pretty smooth there in both directions. We take a look on over at Ocean Drive, still looking good. Those slowdowns are still in place along SPID with some of that construction and road work that's going on. So just keep that in mind if you are headed along SPID, as well as if you're going along Saratoga. Looking good this morning. That minor slowdown that was along South Staple Street has improved in the past 10-15 minutes, but we are seeing a slowdown along Waldron Road in both directions. So just be mindful of that minor slowdown. Flower Bluff Drive also looking good, as well as the JFK Causeway this morning. Well, that's it for your traffic report. More news and weather on the way.
Authentic Mexican food right here on Padre Island. I'm Ana Conejo, and I introduce you to a family that's bringing a taste of home to every plate for Hispanic Heritage Month. You can now see.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Welcome back there, Coastal Bend. Hey, you got the voice of meteorologist Diamond Dixon. Live look outside our CCAC camera overlooking Snoopy's Pier. Cars just moving along at this hour. It's a good time to be headed out while there's not a lot of traffic. As far as our temperatures, well, we're taking a nice warm up to start our Tuesday. We're also looking at a little bit of those temperature increases throughout our neighborhood that's leading to a little bit of heat risk to keep in mind for us. So when we take a look at current temperatures, of course, we're going to always start off a little bit warmer near the water. Looking at 84 for Ingleside and Port Aransas and 82 for Rockport. 81 for the Naval Air Station and 78 for here in Corpus Christi. Same for Mathis and Kingsville, San Diego and Hebronville. So still a little warm for us, and we take that gradual warm up into our 11 o'clock hour this morning, and that will extend till about 6-7 o'clock tonight. So current winds right now also a little bit more increased than yesterday. South wind in Port Aransas at 10 miles per hour, 12 for Freer. Seeing mainly a south and southeast wind across our neighborhoods. Pretty calm right now here in Corpus Christi. So with those feel like temperatures, expect the warmest part of your day to actually be between 12 and 7. So that's going to be majority of your day from about lunchtime all the way until dinner time. You could see that those highs really get warm between 2 and 4 with those feel like temperatures between 109 and 108 today. And that's going to extend past Corpus Christi. So looking if you're wanting to walk your dog, this is Goldie. You can see that the hour by hour for us, we warm up from 79 in our 8 o'clock hour to 92 by noon. So we start, once again, a quick warm up into the 90s by 11 o'clock this morning. It's kind of interesting pattern that we take such a warm up before we are expecting that cold front this week. So we're expecting the high of 95 today here in Corpus Christi, mostly sunny. Couple of those stray showers as well. If you want to know what do those highs look like across our area, we're looking at triple digits for Orange Grove and George West, and just on the cusp there of Freer at 99. And once again, 95 for here in Corpus Christi, 98 for Alice, and 96 for Robstown and Kingsville. So warm day overall. Throughout the day, planning out your day. Once again, staying in the 90-degree weather from 6 to 7 o'clock. Passing showers, though, you could see through Future Tracker, really starts around 7 here near Corpus Christi, moving towards Rockport into 9 o'clock and even into our 11 o'clock hour. We'll then see some shower activity near Beeville around 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock before clearing out by 5 and 6 for us. That rainfall does make a return, though, for us on Wednesday. Between Wednesday night and Thursday is going to be our more prominent rainfall. Between widely scattered and scattered, that's also where we see our cold front moving through. That's going to impact our temperatures on Thursday.
Feeling the pressure of rising prices? Well, there's finally a silver lining. I'm Michaela Chavez, sharing why falling interest rates could be your relief.
Auto loan delinquencies are on the rise. I'm Holly Furfer, looking at what this concerning trend means for the economy.
On TV station.
Welcome back, folks. So auto loans are actually the second biggest debt category for consumers. That's behind mortgages, of course. And more consumers are finding themselves behind on their car payments, now totaling more than $1.6 trillion nationwide. Scripps News Group's Holly Furfer takes a look into the rise of auto loan delinquencies.
If you own a car, I probably don't need to tell you it's getting more expensive. With the average new car payment costing more than $700 a month and used cars at over $500. The rise in auto loan delinquencies is signaling consumers are stretched.
Reaching higher levels, auto loan delinquencies are rivaling numbers not seen since the Great Recession or the height of COVID.
The timing of these red flags right now is especially alarming given sort of the larger trends in the market around the affordability of cars.
Tara Mikulineni is a senior fellow at the Consumer Federation of America that released a report on the trend and its wider implications for the economy. The price of cars are higher, plus the costs for insurance and repairs compounded by tariffs.
All of these things have sort of combined to create this affordability crisis. And I think that is showing up in the data around how consumers are experiencing distress. And we're seeing that in the numbers around delinquencies, defaults, repossessions.
More than 5% of Americans with car loans are past due. And the number varies depending on the state, nearing almost 10% in Mississippi, with Louisiana and Georgia not far behind.
When you see as many defaults as we see now, it is a signal that people's financial situations are much worse than what we realize.
James Lambridis is the CEO of Debt MD. Many of his clients struggle with credit card debt, which he calls a vicious cycle for those trying to get out.
Well, first and foremost, you got to pay your mortgage and rent along with groceries and basic living expenses. So that's why the car payment takes a back seat to those things.
Consumers are taking on more debt and longer loan terms. Instead of 6 years, extending them out to 7 or 8. According to a report by LendingTree, Gen Zers with auto loans have the highest delinquency rates. Mikulineni says it's really a warning sign of the strain Americans are feeling.
I think this sort of panoply of factors really is very alarming and is potentially suggestive of larger distress in the economy that we should really be paying attention to.
Holly Furfer, Scripps News Group, Atlanta.
Here in your neighborhood, get ready for a night of fashion, fun, and philanthropy. The 5th annual Bra Day event is happening tomorrow at the Downtown Civic Center, starting at 6 p.m. Hosted by local breast cancer advocates, the event is dedicated to raising awareness and supporting those affected by the disease. The evening features a unique fashion show where models will walk the runway wearing bras transformed into bold, artistic designs, all created by members of the community. Guests can also take part in a live auction bidding on the decorated bras to help raise funds. All proceeds benefit local breast cancer awareness campaigns, and it is open to the public. Families are encouraged to attend. For more information, head to our website, christv.com.
Well, it's time for another look at weather. Temperature and feel like wise, starting our day a little warmer. Low to mid 80s there along the coast, upper 70s for our surrounding neighborhoods, including Corpus Christi at 78 degrees. Our winds are pretty calm also right now here in Corpus Christi, but seeing the more increased winds out of the south between 10 and 12 miles per hour, extending from the coast a little bit further inland towards Freer. Our winds will pick up this afternoon along with our heat, and that heat is going to really turn up a notch. We still have opportunity to see some passing showers. A lot of that will be situated closer to 7 a.m. here in Corpus Christi, and then moving to more Rockport between 9 and 11 a.m. and then into Beeville closer to 3 p.m. this afternoon, and clearing us out between 5 and 6 and clearing out for overall tonight. That rain does make a return Wednesday for us and into Thursday. For more prominent rainfall, you can expect the warmest part of our day to start around 11 a.m. but temperatures already going to be in the 90s lasting through 7 o'clock tonight.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Hey, welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of non-stop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We have plenty of neighborhood news for you this morning, but first, let's check in with meteorologist Diamond Dixon for a look at the roadways. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle and Brian. That's right. We see a couple of things happening on our traffic flow maps this morning. But as far as how we're looking, well, this is one of the roads that we're going to talk about. We can see SPID right now. Traffic still flowing in both directions, but there is going to be some impactful traffic happening with some construction on those roadways out there that you will see and may run into this morning if you are headed in that direction. So looking at specifically our traffic flow maps right now at 6:40 this morning, we see a couple of different colors going on, but from Portland to the Harbor Bridge, we're still looking good and green for the most part. But as we take it on over to Ocean Drive is still looking good. And we just saw SPID on our Skycam, and you can see multiple slowdowns along the way for SPID. And Saratoga is also looking good this morning. Waldron Road still has that minor slowdown in both directions with a minor slowdown along Flower Bluff Drive. And the JFK Causeway is also looking good this morning. Well, that's it for your quick traffic update. I'll have more weather on the way.
Well, hey, thank you so much, Diamond. We appreciate you. We're going to check back in with you in just a little bit. Stick around, though, folks. We have plenty of neighborhood news coming right up.
Yes, from the dark side of AI chatbots to concerns over the recent response to the gas leak in Portland. We have you covered in your neighborhood check-in.
One download on the App Store and you could have your own assistant in your back pocket. While it sounds good on paper, experts suggest to proceed with caution. I first became aware of these concerns with news stories like these. They became so frequent that they even made their way to Capitol Hill.
Sewell's death was the result of prolonged abuse by AI chatbots on a platform called Character AI.
But how aware are parents in the Coastal Bend? I left this message in a handful of Facebook groups. I've not gotten a response, so I turned to an expert.
And all it's doing is kind of amping me up and winding me up. And I'm talking with AI, whether it's through chat or voice or however it may be, it's always going to tell me what I want to hear.
Once again, the employment agreement contract for the city manager is postponed for the next meeting. Charlie Sosa was appointed the position on August 25th. As Chris 6 News reported before, Sosa had a felony conviction back in 2005 for shoplifting in New Mexico, which still concerns residents. The court spoke for about 30 minutes during executive session regarding the contract, but nothing was decided at the end. The agenda packet states if the contract is signed, the city manager will get paid $180,000 annually, and if terminated, he will receive 20 weeks full salary. Chris 6 News asked the court for comment, but were declined. The next meeting will be held Tuesday, October 14th.
A gas leak on Sunset Drive led to a mandatory evacuation of some nearby neighbors this past Friday. Now, community members are questioning the response to an emergency like this. Friday night at 11:06 p.m., the city of Portland posted about a minor gas leak at a well site in Sunset Lake Park, issuing a precautionary evacuation for residents and businesses within a 750-foot radius. By midnight, that turned into a mandatory evacuation. I spoke with Fire Chief Jeff Morris. He says citizens that were a part of the immediate notification going door to door were residents that were located within 1,000 feet of the well. The 1,000 feet was determined based on the types of gas that could have escaped.
Prices are going up, but interest rates are coming down. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter on the South Side, and I'm taking a look at how this could put more money in your pocket. Late last week, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time this year, dropping them by about 0.25% from 4 to 4.25%.
In the big picture, that's definitely a good reduction overall. That eliminates some of the costs with buying home.
Coastal Bend Realtor and certified expert advisor David Garcia says that mortgage rates aren't directly tied to Fed cuts, but they do get an indirect boost.
You're either going to save money monthly or you're able to buy a little bit more home, right? Because now your payment went down.
Listen to this example of what that looks like.
So at about a $400,000 home, you're at about $100, $150 less a month in your principal over time.
That's good news for anyone refinancing or buying a home. But when we take a closer look at who dominates the new homeowner arena, there's a trend, and it's not young people. In 2023, 19%, or about 8.5 million young adults ages 25 to 34, still lived with their parents or other family.
A lot of it has to do with loan debt, right? Student loan debt, finances, the cost of living, and overall job stability.
Garcia recommends if you're living at home, use that as a chance to save for a future down payment. But don't rush into buying just any house. When rates go down, demand goes up.
Because when the rates go down, we got more buyers coming into the market, which what happens? It increases demand. When you start to increase demand, now you start to have multiple offers, prices may be going up.
So what should you do to play it smart?
What would you recommend right now then?
I recommend making a move when you're ready. Make a move, at least buy something. You know, it may not be your dream home, it may be just your starter home, but I highly recommend that if you're in the market to buy a home, I recommend you do it as soon as you can. Lock in that good rate before prices go up.
Experts are predicting a strong possibility that rates will go down again at least 2 more times by the end of the year. On the South Side, I'm your Neighborhood News reporter, Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise.
Well, good morning again there. Coastal Bend meteorologist Diamond Dixon. Another look at our CCC camera overlooking Snoopy's Pier. Nice stunning cloud in the view right there. Well, we have mostly sunny skies expected for us today, but that quick shower and stray shower is not to be ruled out for us this morning and into the early afternoon. Now, looking at our currents in your neighborhood, once again, we're looking at a little bit warmer temperatures to start off our morning. Upper 70s for Corpus Christi and Beeville and Kingsville at 78 and 81 there for the Naval Air Station and 84 for Port Aransas. Visibility is still being impacted there in Beeville as well as Alice. So once again, just be mindful of that as you're commuting. South wind right now, 10 miles per hour in Port Aransas. Elsewhere, a little bit calm to about 5 miles per hour. Now, when we look at those temperatures in VLX, we're seeing a little bit of temperature variation closer to the coast where we're feeling a little bit warmer, about 10 degrees warmer. than that actual air temperature. But those feel like temperatures take an increase starting at 11 today. Warmest part of the day between 2 and 4, feeling like 109 and 108 for us. So you'll want to keep in mind what that heat risk is going to look like, especially between the warmest part of our day. So I know that we just hit fall, but we haven't got the effects of it just yet. We'll see that more so into our Thursday. Well, if you're walking the dog, this is Goldie. As we look at temperatures between 8 and 12, we see between 79 and 92 degrees, hitting the 90s there by our 11 o'clock hour with a south wind just shy of 15 miles per hour. We will see those passing showers throughout our morning between Corpus Christi and Rockport, and then closer to Beeville this afternoon before clearing out, getting that better rainfall headed into our Wednesday and Thursday, where we'll then feel the effects of that cold front into our Thursday with those temperatures. So we take a dip Thursday, and then we get near normal towards the end of the week into the weekend. We're still looking at that heat risk today, even some areas extreme. Tomorrow looks to improve slightly, and even better for us on Thursday with that cold front that would be in place for us. So headed into the next 7 days, have a little bit of an up and down weather pattern, but we will still have those daily chances of rainfall, best between Wednesday and Thursday with the cold front moving through, dropping our temperatures into Thursday slightly there below normal for us, expecting about 89 to 90 degrees and then near normal temperatures for the weekend.
Chris 6 News celebrates Hispanic heritage.
I'm Ana Conejo, your neighborhood news reporter in Padre Island. For Hispanic Heritage Month, I introduce you to Guajillos on the Island, a spot that takes pride in being more than a restaurant. They take pride in being Mexican. Platos. South Texas is full of Tex-Mex staples, from crunchy tacos to cheesy enchiladas. But you won't find any of that inside one Padre Island restaurant. Guajillos on the Island is doing things differently, putting the Mex without the Tex in their dishes.
The people think that Tex-Mex place is authentic Mexican food, but it's not.
This family-owned restaurant has been open for 4 years, serving up dishes rooted in the flavors of Mexico, from pozole, fish, chilaquiles, birria, and more. I did not pass up the opportunity to try one of their signature dishes, a pork shank.
Big piece of pork, marinated 24 hours in adobo sauce. The sauce is made with roasted peppers and mix it with fresh herbs.
With roots from Veracruz, Mexico, owner Fernando Rosas and his son Andres say their goal is to offer a true taste of their home.
It's just recreation of what we miss on our own country.
Something that's hard to find in the sea of Tex-Mex restaurants.
We were making our recipes the way our ancestors they used to make 500 years ago, just using water and pepper paste.
They point out that many local spots serve Americanized dishes like chimichangas or hard-shell tacos. At Guajillos, those items are nowhere to be found. Instead, every dish is prepared with one goal in mind: to unite.
That restaurant is not was made just for Hispanic people. It's to show the rest of the world, or the rest of the people, that we live together and we can do a lot of things together.
Guajillos owners say that they're always adding new dishes and fresh flavors to the menu. Reporting in Padre Island, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Ana Conejo, Chris 6 News.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice, the birthplace of Tejano. This Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm showing you how musicians and the community are keeping the music alive.
Our culture is our culture, and we can't forget it, we can't erase it.
Albert Canales is the lead singer and accordion player of Conjunto Oro. His love for Tejano started at a young age. Canales tells me he grew up around music with his uncle's band and was influenced by other musicians, so much so that he and his friends started Conjunto Oro in the late 1990s. Plus, his hometown of Alice is known as the birthplace of Tejano. He says Tejano comes from the heart, and one of his goals is to make sure Tejano is never forgotten.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
President Donald Trump, alongside Robert F. Kennedy Jr., announced his administration's latest findings on autism. On Tuesday, the president said his administration would notify doctors about a very increased risk of autism and pregnant women's use of acetaminophen. The pain reliever is commonly known by the brand name Tylenol. A spokesperson for Kenvue, which makes Tylenol, emphasized in a statement that, quote, "We believe independent, sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism," end quote.
The United Nations General Assembly continues in New York today. More than 140 world leaders will make appearances as high-level general debate begins. President Donald Trump is expected to speak shortly after the opening speech. A series of summits will address global conflicts, climate change, and international recognition of a Palestinian state. The group is marking its 18th anniversary this year.
President Trump is expected to meet with Democratic congressional leaders this week to try to prevent a government shutdown. The government will technically run out of money at the end of the month. The Democratic leaders say that they've had no negotiations with congressional Republicans to avoid a shutdown. Sources say Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries could meet with the president on Thursday. The president has said he is open to a meeting with Schumer and Jeffries, but does not believe the talks will have any impact on passing a government funding bill.
The White House is clarifying its change to H-1B visas. This after workers, companies, and foreign governments scramble to respond to a new $100,000 fee on some visas. According to the White House, existing holders of the H-1B visa for skilled workers is not affected. The fee is a one-time charge limited to new petitions, and the move marks the latest in a series of efforts from the administration to crack down on immigration.
Jimmy Kimmel's show is coming back. ABC announced Jimmy Kimmel Live will return tonight. Kimmel will address the controversy during his opening monologue. ABC took the show off air last Wednesday after criticism over Kimmel's monologue about the MAGA movement's response to Charlie Kirk's assassination. A spokesperson for Disney, which owns ABC, said that they suspended the show to cool tension over the comments. But after thoughtful conversations with Kimmel, they reached the decision to bring the show back. Sinclair Broadcasting, which owns numerous local TV stations, says it will preempt the show and air news programming instead.
Corpus Christi Water Crews will begin repairing a buried manhole today. The work will be on the 4,000 block of Ocean Drive between Mitchell Street and Ocean Drive. Southbound traffic will be reduced to one lane, and work is expected to wrap up on Thursday.
All right, all you Star Wars fans out there, yours truly included, we're going to rejoice now. We're getting a first look at the upcoming film, The Mandalorian and Grogu. The trailer features The Mandalorian, and Grogu, also known as Baby Yoda, as they fight a collection of robots and others. The film stars Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, as well as Sigourney Weaver and Jeremy Allen White. The Mandalorian and Grogu hits theaters on May 22nd, 2026. The movie is a spin-off of the Mandalorian series on Disney+. It also is the first Star Wars film in 6 years. This is the way.
Yes, this is the way. I'm so excited for this one. I love the Baby Yoda.
Yep,
I even have the Baby Yoda long socks that I'll wear to the gym sometimes. It just depends on how I'm feeling, but I love Baby Yoda.
That was such a fantastic TV show. Anyway, what a great addition to Star Wars as well. I always loved that Mandalorian spin-off to Boba Fett was always my favorite in the prequels. So.
Yeah, are you a Star Wars fan over there?
No, I am not. No, I'm just like,
this is not the way.
I am the way. No. Well, we talked about our interesting forecast that we have going on this week. We started fall. Does it feel like it? Not quite, but we're gonna eventually get there. You get a mini taste of fall on Thursday, so you just have to wait a little bit for it. We're seeing our sunrise already at 6:56, but looking at what's in store for us today, well, we started our day, as I mentioned, a little bit warmer than what we did yesterday. Still expecting some of those passing showers as well throughout our neighborhoods, but for a shorter period compared to yesterday. So when we look at what our current temperatures are still those low to mid 80s along the coast, 77 now for Corpus Christi and 78 for Mathis and Kingsville and Hebronville. We're going to also look at how these feel like temperatures will impact us. Warmest part of the day is always between 2 to 4 typically, but we're getting warmer once again sooner. So 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. we'll feel like temperatures in the triple digits for us. And with Future Tracker, we can see this shower starting even closer to our 7 o'clock hour, so about 3 minutes. And we look into seeing those rainfall opportunities at 9 o'clock in Rockport and 11, and then moving towards Beeville at 3 for us this afternoon, clearing out by 5 and 6 across our neighborhoods. Rainfall then makes a return Wednesday. That's going to be our heavier rainfall between Wednesday and Thursday, with isolated to widely scattered, even scattered rain chances for us. So when we look at that timeline for us headed into our Thursday, you can see that elevation as we go along, starting Wednesday morning and into the afternoon and evening, with a little bit of an uptick to even numerous showers for us. That's just between Corpus Christi, Alice, and Beeville, and then our surrounding neighbors. Those forecast high temperatures will stay above normal through Wednesday and take that dip into Thursday, slightly above normal again into the weekend, and then evening out headed into the beginning of October. So muggy meter, will we be muggy? Slightly, but we take that dip once again into our Thursday, and we take even bigger dip into Saturday. So we'll be muggy and humid, but not necessarily oppressive like we're seeing today, with extreme values headed out towards west. So be mindful of our heat risk. Those conditions do, though, improve into Wednesday and Thursday. We just have to get there first. So keep your umbrella on standby, nothing too crazy, and enjoy the temperatures headed into Thursday.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Diamond. Appreciate it. And we appreciate you folks for tuning in. Have a great Taco Tuesday.
I'm Senior Neighborhood News reporter Suzanne Stevens. 2 million tax